Good morning, everybody. So, I wanted to address something. It seems like every single time I talk about something that I love or I'm passionate about, I switch my phone to my left or my right hand. And in doing so, I cover the mic every single time, it seems like. So, I'm going to try my hardest not to do that this week. But we are on week 10. 10 weeks in a row we've been doing this. Kind of blows my mind. A year ago I couldn't even pay for pizza when I ordered it. And now I'm doing lives every week, so it's kind of exciting. But I wanted to talk about last week because I went over a few things, and of course I covered the mic so nobody could hear me. I wanted to talk about why I started this channel. And it's not to act like an expert, to teach you anything, to get followers or whatever reason that people start channels like this. I wanted it to be a journey, not just for me, but for us together as friends, as, whatever we are to each other in the world from all over the world. One thing that we have in common is food. And pretty much everything nowadays is toxic. So if there's any type of way for us to find natural alternatives or ways to do things that benefit us and our future, then I think that that's a really good idea to invest in. So I think that us being able to go through this journey together, to learn what we're doing, because I don't know what I'm doing, to be able to share that with everybody else and have them learn from me, for them to teach me things, for us to share recipes. And I think that this would be just a really fun thing to get everybody involved in, because who doesn't like food? I mean, come on now. So I just wanted to go over that one more time. I've been thinking about this a lot because this garden is really the only thing that keeps me sane. Honestly, we being real here, it keeps me sane. And I'm feeling a little bit emotional about the weather changing. And this is supposed to be the most exciting time of the year. Everything's fruiting. Everything is. And it's super exciting. But then there's also that bittersweet moment where things are going to change. Things are going to start dying. Things are going to start turning color and changing. And then the dreaded moment of having to sit inside and look at that snow outside while I'm planting my garden. But that's what's keeping me going right now, is the thought that I get to plan next year and that things are going to be better and that I get to learn more, and it's just going to be a whole new journey. Every year is a new journey and we get to keep learning. So that's what I love about this. So I just wanted to share that again without me covering the mic this time so everybody can hear me. I'm going to go ahead and turn you guys around and we will get started. If I can never find the darn buttons. Okay. All right. So where should I start today? Okay. These are the table scraps that I started probably, I don't even know now, 2 weeks ago. And you can tell that these ones were fresher than these ones. It's still growing, but you can tell it's not looking so pretty. So I think definitely if you're going to do this, that having fresher starts is important. But we got these leeks. I mean, they're growing like crazy just in water here. I don't have anything else extra in here. And these are green onions. I started that last week, and I'll be able to clip and harvest that as I want to. And the bok choy is not doing a whole lot, except looking healthy, I guess. Maybe we'll try throwing these in some soil and see how they do. Okay. Baby dill still hasn't done anything different, but maybe it doesn't have enough room for roots or nutrients, or who knows. We're going to start some our own by seed next year, and hopefully we'll have better luck from it. This was a transplant that we got from Coburn, so. Okay. And our herbs, they've been just going crazy. I've been collecting them and drying them so that we have some for our sauces. And I did an experiment. Okay, so on the table we had started those plants in water and they're rooting and being healthy. So I tried to propagate our purple basil here, and I clipped some off and I planted it here and here. And that was about a week ago, and they are looking beautiful and healthy, so I'm thinking that they put roots down. So we have 2 more purple basil plants in here amongst the sweet basil that we planted. So that's pretty cool. I'm thinking I might propagate some of these herbs to share with others if anybody's interested. Ooh, I should have brought out my smudge stick. I made a smudge stick the other day with the sage that I grew. The rest of this plant will probably make about 2 more, hopefully. Got our pepper plant. We got lots of flowers. It looks like, it's hard to tell. I think these might be one of the bigger tomatoes, but it's hard to tell. They're still small. These are definitely going to be some of the bigger tomatoes. I'm not sure what these varieties are going to be because I didn't. But it looks like some bugs might be getting in if it'll focus. No, it doesn't want to focus. But it definitely looks like some bugs are getting in here. So we'll see if these are even any good. But looks like these are probably the yellow beams cherry tomato too. And alongside this one is also the yellow beams, it looks like. Obviously, look at that beautiful yellow. I harvested one just a few days ago. And it wasn't very flavorful. It was very mellow, but it was very soft, and it didn't have chewy skin or anything. It was a good snacking tomato. It'll probably be good on salads and stuff, but not the super flavorful packed ones that I'm expecting. So hopefully the other ones have a little bit more flavor. Otherwise, I might not grow those next year. They're pretty, but I want some flavor. And these ones look like they're probably either the black or white cherry tomatoes. My phone does not like to focus. Okay, and then potatoes continuing to get brown spots, which is a good thing. That means they're starting to die off, and it's getting closer to harvesting those. I'm just starting to put all these starters into pots. There's broccoli, cauliflower, kohlrabi, and some more Brussels sprouts. The Brussels sprouts, we will not get any actual Brussels sprouts off of these because it's too late in the fall. So we will be harvesting them for the leaves, for us to eat, and also for my bearded dragon because she loves them. And I definitely can tell that it rained last night and got some water in here that I'm going to need to dump out so these roots are sitting in water. But we got all our peppers. They're looking super fabulous. The ones that I started in the spring, I mean, it took them 2 months to get this big, and these have only been going for a few weeks. So definitely, I think I might have gotten overzealous when it came to starting the plants, and I tried to add all this fancy, compost and mushroom compost and peat moss and all this other stuff, and I think I just overdid it, and they had a hard time getting started. So I think I'm going to use regular potting soil to start them, and then just amend my potting soil better, and that might work better. We got the cucumbers. These are growing like crazy too. That's another reason why I think my soil was off, because everything's just thriving way better in this type of soil. Okay, and I wanted to show you guys something cool. I pulled up one of my bean plants, and I had read about it, but I had never seen it actually in person. And I'm going to go ahead and rip this up if I can do it with one hand. Oop, and fling dirt everywhere in the process. Okay. All right. So these roots, if I can find a good example. Okay, you see these little tiny node things all over the roots? If it'll focus. There we go. All those little tiny circles all over the roots here, those are nitrogen nodules. Bean plants literally fix their own nitrogen, you guys. How cool is that? My phone does not want to focus right now. But I just wanted to show you that because that's super cool. Okay, so I'll show you my tomato plants when I go out there, obviously. But these are giant suckers that I pruned off, and some of them even have fruit. So I had a really hard time throwing these out. So I put them in water. They're not going to set fruit or anything most likely before it gets cold, but this is just kind of a experiment to see how they grow, how long they stay alive, and just water solely alone. I like to experiment. That's how I learn. So that's what that is. All right. Take a sip of my coffee. That's good. Okay. Walk over here. I am so excited for these raspberries. Ooh, there's a bee. Because I think I'm going to actually be able to make some jelly this year. I literally, like, you can't even... The first few years, like, we literally just got a handful or two. Look at the bee. Okay, but we got, I mean, on every single bundle, these are all the new growth for this year, so there's only tiny bundles on these. But, I mean, you get to some of the older bunches, and we got fruit. Lots of fruit. These ones especially. Oh my goodness. There's so many of them. Like, we're really gonna just get an outrageous amount, I think. And I'm super excited. Oh my gosh, all these too. It's crazy. It's nuts to think 3 years ago, these were just 2 little stumps in the ground here. 2 little plants, that's all that was. And it would probably be out in the yard too if I didn't mow it down. All right, and we got these ones that I just threw in the ground, and they actually seem like they're thriving. You can tell they're a lot more bushy because I have not been pruning them. You can see they have a good example of what a sucker is. They come right out of the armpit of the plant here. And this, I thought this was just gonna be like more flowering buds. This will actually grow into whole new plant. Whole new plant, whole new plant, whole new plant, whole new plant. Like, this is literally going to get like a bush if it's not pruned, which I'm not going to. I'm just going to let these go wild and see what happens. Another one of my experiments. But it does look like they, at least half of them have little flower buds. So we'll see. Oh, these are totally just weeds, but look how pretty these are. Okay, we got the asparagus patch. It's still thriving in green. But once it starts to die down, then we will be cutting it all off at the base and mulching right here to hopefully keep the weeds down and to help protect the roots. The first year we put these in, we lost 2 of the plants because I didn't mulch. So that was a rough lesson learned, because it's not like something you can just plant from seed. You have to bury them very, very deeply, and it takes several years for them to produce right. So this is what we're going to have, and we're just going to have to let this sprawl out more to cover the ones that we lost. But that's coming up soon here too. Okay, I'm trying so hard not to step over my fence wherever and to actually walk around. Okay. So, our carrots are looking super beautiful. But when I check down by the roots, none of them are swelling yet. So I'm not sure if we just need more days till they're mature or if they need more food. I'm not exactly sure. I'm gonna have to do a little bit more digging and see if I can figure out how to remedy that. I did go through, I should have brought the bag out, but I used this organic tomato food granules. It's made with like chicken poop and stuff like that. And I just went around and literally fed everything in my garden with it now that everything's producing really well. So hopefully that'll give them a kickstart. Oh, my poor radishes, you guys. This is the most excited thing that I've been for in my garden. And I was so sad when we had to rip this chunk out because of the aphids. And now you can see, I mean, they're looking rough. There's lots of yellow holes. The leaves are curled. I mean, I've come through. I finally resorted to spraying soapy water, Dawn dish soap, on the bottoms of the leaves. And today will be day 3, so I'll be able to come and spray all the dead ones off. Hopefully it will get rid of them. I'd really like a harvest off of these. I harvested too early, and they were so beautiful, bright hot pink. They had such a great flavor, and I'm going to be so bummed if I don't get any off of these because of the bugs. But I think that next year I will definitely put these in pots and keep them up on my deck so I can keep more controlled and stuff, because when they're all, you know, out here with a million other plants right up against the ground, I mean, the bugs are going to get them. There's no saving that. So our cabbages are finally looking really beautiful. Thankfully, the aphids haven't messed with these guys too much. The kale. Oh, look how beautiful. My phone isn't even picking up the beautiful purples in this. Wow. So beautiful. That's purple kale. Oh, so these ground cherries were a bust, but covered in mud. There's tons and tons and tons of fruit on these things, but none of them are ripe yet, so I'm not sure what's going on with that. But the foliage is very much eaten, and they're low to the ground, and there's no topsoil back here, so the soil's been splashing all over, and this corner's kind of neglected. And honestly, like right here, I was digging soil out to put in my pots, and I really just did not utilize the back part of this garden like I should have. So next year, this is definitely going to be filled with something. I'm not sure what. I'm going to be changing things up a lot here, I think. I'm learning as I go, so plants are changing. Beans. Looks like we got lots still going in here. Beans and beans. Gosh, this trellis is just insane. Let me see if I can stand back here. Yeah, it's a bush beans. And you can see, I mean, beans and beans and beans and beans all the way up. It's even starting to grow up the tree. How pretty those flowers are. The sunflowers still growing. I'm wondering if these just weren't getting enough sun back here in the garden, because I feel like these were supposed to grow a lot faster and a lot taller. They're finally starting to flower though. This is the tallest one. It's probably like 4 feet maybe. Okay, peppers. You guys, lots and lots and lots of pepper action. Peppers there. And peppers over there. Here's a big one. I believe from the shape of this one that it is one of the chocolate peppers. So it'll be a sweet chocolate pepper. So that's kind of exciting. Looks like just lots of flower buds. And just the startings of some fruits. They'll have to get a little bit bigger before I know what they are. Our kohlrabi flopping over in the wind. We'll see how that does out here. You can tell them ants are getting to a few of these plants. They're very stunted and they're kind of floppy. I'm gonna have to spread some more diatomaceous earth out here. Okay. So for the exciting things out here, I'm gonna set down my coffee for this one. Hopefully I don't leave my cup out here this time. Here, I'm gonna stand back. I got some stakes. My cages are not tall enough, obviously. We knew that was gonna happen. My plan originally was to stack these cages, but then as I got to thinking about them, I decided to go a different way. So I think that these poles are gonna work a lot better. Okay, let me see if I can show you a good example of, okay, if I can even find a good example. Okay, here we go. Okay, so this plant right here, it's a single stem all the way up, okay? That's what we want. And if we grow with poles, then that will be really easy to keep everything going and keep some airflow and everything supported. But, okay, so, you know, I was talking about suckers when I was talking about those other tomato plants. These, I decided to leave a few suckers on there because obviously I didn't know what they were going to turn into. But I figured if they weren't towards another plant that they would be fine. They'd have enough space. But then we get things like this. Okay. This is kind of a mess of a plant. If you can even see, right there was a sucker I didn't trim because it was going out the other direction. I didn't think it would be a problem. Well, that turned into a whole entire other tomato plant. Another sucker I didn't prune turned into a whole nother tomato plant. There is literally 3 separate tomato plants in this one bundle. So I had to tie them sort of together so that they weren't flopping in every direction and breaking off. So I'm gonna have to tie those up. As you can see, like this one has a sucker down here that turned into a plant, and then right here it splits into 2 vines all the way up. So I think that if you're going to do it that way, cages would be the best way to go. But I think that if you decide to single stem them, that the poles would work really, really well. So I think that's what I'm going to do next year. And all of these cages I can double stack and put in the back of the garden. And I'm going to see if I can do like melons and the zucchini and all that stuff up on the trellises with these cages stacked up. So I think that'll be really neat. Out of all the plants and stuff, or all the tomatoes, I think that this one so far is the winner for size. Let me see if I can size comparison for my hand. It's the biggest one yet. I'm trying to remember what this is. I think it's either a gold medal or a Kellogg's breakfast. I mean, every single one of these plants has nice big juicy tomatoes on it now. Let me show you. These Romans are so cool. Those are speckled Romans. They're going to be orange and red, like striped. It's going to be so cool. Okay, and then the biggest producer, like as far as how big the plant's getting, how much fruit it's producing, how many suckers we're growing, is these 2 right here. And they are the Wapsinicon peaches. And they are a tomato, but they're like a peach. They're sweet, and they are, I probably can't pick it up on camera, but they are fuzzy. Oh, maybe a little bit. Yeah, they're fuzzy. And they turn like a peach color. But the cuttings up on the deck, most of them came from these 2 plants. I really had to hack away at these plants to get airflow. There's multiple stems growing everywhere. It's really kind of a mess, but we learn as we go, right? Okay, and the last thing in the garden back here, these cucumbers were doing super horribly. All the leaves looked like this, but I kept coming out here every single day, clipping them off, hoping that new growth would come, and it did. Look at all these beautiful leaves. It's growing all the way up into the tree now. I should have brought my seed packets out with me. I'm not sure if this is a Boothly's Blonde or a Edmondson's. I can't remember which one had the black spines. One of them had white spines, one of them had black spines. And that's the little pokies. But I picked one earlier in the season, and it was really, really good. I mean, you can see all the little tiny baby female flowers. Doesn't want to focus. Never focuses. But check this out. All the way. Check these out, you guys. These are just about ready to pick. Like, probably I give it like another day or 2. And there's comparison for size. These are lemon cucumbers. I mean, and you can see we have all sorts of them growing all the way up. But these 3 here are the ones that are going to be done first. And I'm super excited to try these. I have never eaten one of these before. I'm not really seeing any other. Oh, we do have a little. These are just A&C pickling cucumbers. I tried one of these the other day, and it was super, super bitter. But then the second one that I tried was not bitter. So I think that maybe the first one was just a fluke or something. But I've also been more diligent about watering. So that could also have something to do with it. And I think the only thing I haven't gone over is these Brussels sprouts. And I'm starting to think... Oof, alarm. I'm starting to think that maybe we won't get Brussels sprouts this year. I'm not sure why. I did just feed these plants, so maybe that'll help jumpstart production. But, I mean, there's no Brussels sprouts growing yet. They usually go right up the stalk. And I don't know if maybe they're not getting enough sun back here, getting choked out behind these tomatoes. That's totally possible. But, I mean, the leaves look really beautiful and healthy. And They taste good. I've been harvesting the leaves, so. I'm gonna grab my coffee so I don't forget it out here. I'm going to walk out here and give you a full shot of the garden because it is so beautiful. Now that everything's like not done, but now that everything is like growing full force, it's just so beautiful. So look at that, you guys. God, that just makes me so proud and happy. And also a little sad that it's not going to last very much longer, but hopefully you guys will join me for winter planning because that'll be exciting. But I think that's it for this week, you guys. Thank you for tagging along, and if you guys have any recipes or tips and tricks, things that you've seen that I'm doing wrong that you might have some help for, definitely go ahead and share that. I am not opposed to learning new info. So until next week, Hakuna Matata.